Hey, Kyle.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm great and you.
So good, so good. Um, well, first of all, welcome back to Chicago because correct me if I'm wrong, you were here with Once on This Island. Is that correct? A few
I
years.
was here.
Well, then welcome back.
Thank you.
What are some things that are on your bucket list while you're here? We'd love to know.
Food. I just want to have some good food. What else? I want to see Betty Boop, the new musical, as well while I'm here. And I think that's it. And when I was here last time, I did all the touristy stuff, so got that out of the way.
You're covered. Well, that sounds like a great itinerary, and of course, we'd love to have you come see Boop. It's so fantastic. Um, but we're talking about you today and all things The Wiz. And let's start at the beginning of using. And I saw on Instagram that you fell in love with the character of the lion in the sixth grade. Can you tell me about that first initial connection when you maybe watched like a movie or what really sparked that joy for you?
Um, yes. So I did The Wizard of Oz in sixth grade. It was the first role I ever did as a performer. And playing the lion. The lion is like a lovable, uh, big energy type character, so it was easy to fall in love with him. And then I just remember seeing The Wizard of Oz, the movie, and then also seeing The Wiz, the movie musical. And he's just a lovable, likable character, and I just related to him. He was a heavier person. Um, he was big in his like with his energy. He was just vivacious, and I just was like, I want to be that. I'm not that yet, but I see myself in there. So that's what made me connect to him. And yeah, coming back to it all these years later is like the greatest dream come true because I didn't think it would be me, but I'm very happy that it is.
What an incredible full circle moment. That's so exciting. Did you know at sixth grade, like this is what I want to be doing for the rest of my life? Or was there a moment later that led you to think like, okay, acting is what I want to do?
I think I always felt that I would be doing it. I didn't consider it a career until like high school. But then I also realized I'm not really great at anything else. So I was like, I think I want to stick with something that I could do for free, that I'm passionate about, and that I love doing. Yeah. So it kind of just fell together in high school. I found myself auditioning for musical theater programs. And then I was like, okay, so I think this is my career path. And luckily it's worked out.
Here we are. So uh, I would love to know where you went to college and how you knew that college was the right choice for you in your acting career journey.
So I didn't. So I went to college, but it was a conservatory. It's called AMDA, American Musical and Dramatic Academy, in New York City. I moved to New York City 2 weeks after high school. Went to that conservatory for 2 years, and then I hit the ground running and started auditioning and threw myself out there. I knew I needed to go to school because I needed to hone the craft, and I needed a home base in New York City, and my school gave me that. And then they also just taught me things about the business that I wouldn't have known if I would have just came here and not had any type of guidance. So it really worked in my favor. Um, I learned the history of musical theater. I also learned how sometimes musical theater does not highlight Black and brown bodies as often as I would like, especially plus size folks. So that really gave me the urge to kind of like stay in the moment so that I could represent myself and other people who look like me.
Mm, absolutely. Well, speaking of young professionals, we had a question that came in that says, what would you recommend or encourage a young performer to do, or maybe
Um, Go to class, honey. Get you some good training, okay? Get you some training. Get you some friends who encourage you because musical theater life, this career path, is not for the week. It will test your patience. It will test your self-confidence. It will test your self-worth and how you talk to yourself. So get your good group of people to rally behind you when it gets tough, because it will. And also to remember to have fun. Like sometimes people take this thing so seriously that they're not allowed to just be artists and create and be the kid that you're being paid to be. Like, don't get caught up in the hype too much. Everybody's putting on costumes and makeup and telling stories. It's not that deep. We take it seriously, but we don't overcompensate by like losing the fun. And that's what I love to do. Every time I get in the costume, I'm like, I know I am a grown man in a wig and a beard, full of makeup, in a costume, hot, getting ready to go on stage and entertain the people. But I love what I do. Yeah.
Well, jumping to your professional career, we had a lot of questions that came in about your time in A Strange Loop.
Mm-hmm.
You were with the show on Broadway and then starring in the role in the West End. How do you feel, if at all, that your time portraying Usher in A Strange Loop has at all impacted your portrayal of the Lion?
Just as an actor, I'm much freer. Like, Strange Loop is such a heavy role. And I get to have fun in the show. And I had fun in Strange Loop, but it was a different type of fun. And the ironic thing is, like, A Strange Loop, Usher was dealing with his identity, who he was in the world, in his family, his sexuality, like all these things that Black queer people have to deal with, specifically fat Black queer people. So he was like channeling through that, and it's helped me live in the truth of the Lion. Sometimes you're not all you're cracked up to be, and then sometimes you have to have people to remind you who you are, which is something that Usher didn't have, that the Lion has when he meets the Scarecrow and Tin Man and Dorothy. But the beautiful thing is that, like, when I first did the Lion, I was a closeted little gay boy who loved theater but could not be who he was in his world. So the fact that I get to revisit this role after doing a show like Strange Loop, where it talks about a character who's dealing with his sexuality and who he is and with his family and his religious background, to come and do this character as a fully open gay person, and to be confident in that, it freed me up to even play more with the character. So that's the beautiful connection that I have with The Strange Loop and The Lion.
So wonderful. I read a little bit of an interview that you did with another publication talking about your connection with the Lion, and I want to read a quote right here. He's a cowardly lion. He doesn't have much courage, and I can identify with that. I haven't had courage, and even with me coming out and being a gay, being a Black person, I have courage. So I identify with the lion in that sense, and that's kind of like what you were saying now. And I'm wondering if now, present day Kyle, do you feel like you still more closely identify with the character of the Lion, or is there a different show, or is there a different character in the show that you feel that you relate to a little bit more?
Yes, honey. The older you get, the more jaded you become. So I'm very much Eveline in the morning, honey. My favorite line from the show, because I wake up already negative, and you've wired up my fuse. So don't nobody bring me no bad news. No, I still identify with the Lion, because yes, I was in the closet. I came out, and the world opened up for me. But I still have moments of insecurity and moments where I don't feel like I have what it takes. And there are moments where I don't feel courageous. So that is something that'll never leave me. But I think because I overcame such a big obstacle in my life already, it's a bit easier to tackle other things, because I'm a Black person from the South who grew up in church, and like being anything other than heteronormative is like it's not a thing. So I still identify with him because it takes courage to like even get on stage every night and perform and believe that you are something that people want to see. Because sometimes your head can just tell you that you don't have what it takes, you're not worth it, you're not your best today. But I'm not as scary as the lion is anymore. The lion has to take a few times around the lap to build up the courage. It doesn't take me that long anymore. I can look at myself in the mirror and say, girl, get it together. You have things to do. But yeah, if that answers your question.
What are some things that you're feeling from when you were channeling courage, confidence to go on that stage and perform so wonderfully as you did? I saw the show last night and you were so wonderful. So talking about like this courage and confidence, what are you pulling from?
I'll give you a little secret. In my brain, my lion is like Jennifer Lewis meets Little Richard. So I pull from the people that inspire me in real life. Little Richard was a person who was flamboyant, and in a time where Black people were not accepted everywhere, he was doing something out of the box that even Black people were kind of unsure of, let alone like other people accepting who he was. So I kind of take on that type of performance of like, I'm the best that you'll ever see. Take a load of me. I'm big and I'm scary. And then Jennifer Lewis is just kind of like the theatrical auntie that lives in The Lion as well. The Lion is a loner, but he has a sense of family because his family was stripped away from him. So when he discovers his courage, he discovers that it takes courage to stand up for the people who call you their family and call you your friends. Like that takes courage too, especially in the scenes in the show where like Eveline is doing something terrible to us, or we're trying to get to see the Wiz. It takes courage to stand up for your friends and stand your ground. So I draw from Little Richard and Jennifer Lewis, a little bit of Kyle in there just in my normal life because I like to, strap my stuff sometimes. But yeah, that's who I draw inspiration from.
This show, I could really just feel all of the joy just radiating from this stage. I'd love to know, what is your favorite moment from the show?
I think I just discovered it the other night on stage because people have asked me that before, and I was always saying it's my entrance. That's my favorite part. But I think my favorite part is a song called, what is the song called? I Know We're Gonna Make It. And it's a point in where the Tin Man has declared to the Wiz that he is going to kill Eveline, that we're going to do this thing that is this horrible, terrible task. And of course, as the lion, you're scared of like doing something that's out of your comfort zone. And then he shares why it's important for him to do this because he is longing for something that he is missing. And we, in that moment, encourage each other to be like, you know what, we've traveled this far. We've conquered this amount of things already. Why not try something else together? And it's just a song about talking about how we're going to, in spite of being fearful, we're going to rally together and we're going to do this thing that seems terrible together. We're okay. And like the number is funny. I get to be goofy. Avery Wilson is singing his behind off. We're all singing. And it's just like a fun moment. And in rehearsal, it's a moment that we kind of did organically. Shelly, our director, was kind of like, throughout the whole process, how about you try things that are natural to you first, and then we'll incorporate that into the actual blocking. So the blocking that you see on stage is exactly what we did just as human beings in the rehearsal space. That was kind of like blocked by us, if I say. So that's the most fun because it was the most organic. And it's just a fun number to do with my other cast members.
Wonderful. Can't think of a better way to end this. Kyle, thank you so much for sharing your time and talent.
Thank you.
Grateful. Before we head off, how can people keep up with your journey? What's your Instagram?
My Instagram handle is I am Kyle Freeman. You can catch me on Instagram. Also, The Wiz B-Way is a page that I'm on as well. We do takeovers at different cities that we go to. So yeah, IG is the place to find me, and Facebook too.
Kyle, thank you so, so much. For all those who are tuning in, come out, come see The Wiz. It's just so joyful. It's so colorful. It's so wonderful. See this wildly brilliant cast at the Cadillac Palace Theater until December 10th only. Now, I will say tickets are going extremely fast. They are almost sold out. So check back the day of, and new tickets may be released. And we also have our $25 lottery, $49 rush, all those details and more at broadwayinchicago.com. Someone is saying, will more tickets be released? Yes, continue to check back the day of, as day of tickets may be released. So come on, come join us. Kyle, thank you so, so much.
Thank you.
And Chicago.
Bye.